was. I hope no one was using my weights. Anyway, moving on. Hope you all weren't sick of the mechanical suggestions for Godzilla Save the Earth Melee, because I got another one for you. Once again, I doubt this will be added to the project. The more I think about it, the less likely I feel that it is that we'll get airstrikes. I feel like I'm like the one person on the planet Earth that really liked those in Godzilla Save the Earth. But I have a couple of ideas, and I figured this is one of them, so I might as well make a video about it. Let me explain. The Dimension Tide.
I'll do it myself.
As we can see here, I have a very crude drawing created from sprites that I stole off of Google Images. The one of Godzilla is from Godzilla Kaiju Daikasen, which is an older Godzilla game. I believe I mentioned it in a previous video, but that's the one that has all the different versions of Godzilla playable. I believe this is the 1973 sprite for Godzilla. But I've laid out a kind of crude map of the Tokyo map in Godzilla Save the Earth proper, and I want to use it to discuss an airstrike that I came up with that I think would be interesting, and I've kind of thought about how you could program it too. So really the technical hitch, if there is one, is to do this within the code of Save the Earth Melee. But logically I thought of it really easily, and this is something I've always wanted, and this idea isn't exactly original. Any arena fighter could do something like this, so this is just me using it in the context of Godzilla. So here on our map we have Godzilla and Gigan standing on the opposite sides of the river that sits in the middle of the Tokyo map in Godzilla Save the Earth Melee. Up on the far end side of the Gigan side of the river, we see the airstrike. I made a very crude redesign of the airstrike power-up just to get rid of the Atari symbol because I've talked about that in several videos at this point. But let's assume the match has started. Godzilla versus Gigan. And, you know, what typically happens begins to happen. Godzilla saunters over to Gigan, and they have their typical quibble. You don't talk to me anymore. You're insensitive to my needs. I know Kung Fu. Well, I know the Vulcan nerve pinch. And at some point, Gigan just gives up and decides to just stand there and not move. But a power-up drops at that moment. So the player controlling Godzilla decides, I'm gonna go get that airstrike. So Godzilla goes over to the airstrike, and he picks it up. Suddenly, a translucent purple crosshair appears on the map. And I would have it like flash or something. It would probably be better just to have the transparency changed. And this really wouldn't be that difficult. All you would do is change the alpha value transparency of the texture. But I haven't gotten under the hood of Save the Earth, so maybe it's more complex than that. While this thing is locked onto Gigan, I would have it so that it kind of moves along with him. So if he goes over here, it follows him there. But eventually, during that following time period, I'd have a countdown timer playing in the background. How long it would take and how often it would flash between being seen and not seen is really up to the developers. But whenever that timer runs out, the crosshair would become locked in place. And you'd be able to see it on the ground, even if Gigan moved away for some reason. So then a separate timer would start. I wouldn't have the crosshairs flash at this point, because they're locked into the ground. Basically, at the end of a timer, which I hate programming timers, but it's simple enough to just Google. So I have no doubt the dev team would be able to do it, and I'm sure they have it for other moves. I know classic Godzilla's breath has an after effect that lasts a certain amount of time. So once it's locked in place, I would then have a second timer start. At this point, I might have the crosshair disappear entirely, and I'd create a very small circular shadow in the spot where the crosshair was. And that secondary timer, as it counts down, I would slowly increase the size of the circle. And the whole time, I would have some sound effect playing in the background to signify that the Dimension Tide is enclosing on the area. And then, boom, the Dimension Tide effect plays in that spot. They already have something similar to this for Destoroyah's Oxygen Destroyer weapon. I'd just make a really big particle effect and have it really vertical, and I'd make it like dark purple or something like that. And obviously the sound effect of it like rushing down through the atmosphere. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking of like a toilet flush. And obviously it would cause massive damage when it hits the ground. And obviously if Gigan was standing over here, you could do a lot of things, but I imagine they'd want to balance this. You know, you could just have it kill Gigan. K.O. My brother suggested that you maybe have them get like sucked up into it, maybe make the character's model disappear, and then play like a bunch of damaging sound effects. I personally don't like that idea, but my brother suggested that. That's what he thought would be cool about it. Although maybe if they got sucked into it, you could have it that they just lay prone on the ground once it's over. Because Godzilla did survive at the end of Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, so this would reflect the Dimension Tide. Tide. This isn't a stupid idea so much as it is a bombastic one. It would really pay tribute to the franchise. I know the comics did something with the Dimension Tide, but that was more of a horizontal weapon. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Maybe that's too much. Maybe the dev team wouldn't even be able to do that. But it was a cool idea nonetheless. I just wanted to share it. Please like and comment if you liked my idea. Dev team, feel free to tell me to shove it. This project has really reawakened the creative part of me that was locked away after my childhood. And yes, I know this shirt is a repeat. Leave me alone. I wanted to make a video about the Dimension Tide. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you in the next video, whenever that is.